appreciate all of the attendees. I need to manage your expectations. This talk is going to be like an MBA curriculum in about 90 minutes, and I probably put in more slides than I have in my past presentations, but I'm going to speak at a pretty fast clip. Again, feel free to communicate with me with any questions. Also, this is really one of my favorite topics because I'm extremely frustrated with the slow adoption rate of what I think are really great methods, and they're going to be described as we go in here. So who will benefit from this presentation? Managers who have previously struggled at promoting financial planning and analysis, enterprise performance management, and integrating business analytics into their decision support systems. And also managers who intend to champion any or all enterprise performance management and business analytic improvement techniques. They need a compelling call to action. The reason I have champion in quotation marks is because although it's really good to have senior executive sponsorship for new ideas and new programs and initiatives, oftentimes those men and women at the top are preoccupied with firefighting or short-term priorities. And I found, my observation is it's often managers 1, 2, 3, 4 levels down from the C-suite who have kind of passion, fire in the belly. They ask, how long do we want to perpetuate using some of these old, traditional, and arcane methods? So I really kind of enjoy appealing to middle managers to incent them. Whoop, got to go to the manual. Go. Wait, let me see. Did it? Just wanted to write. I think this cartoon really sets the stage for the entire talk. You've got this clerk, shoulders hunched, poor, sad face, paper all around, and the supervisor at the left in the doorway is asking him, it looks like you have all the data. What is the holdup? I gave you the request this morning. Why don't you have the answer? And so this sort of drowning in data, starving for information will be fundamental to what we're going to talk about. So the topics, I will first try to clarify the confusion about what is this enterprise performance management you may have heard of. Then I'm going to quickly introduce what I consider to be 3 barrier categories. And then we're really going to drill into 5 barriers of the categories, and I've got them listed there, and we'll go through each of them. At the very end, okay, how do you overcome these barriers? And then I'd like to show you how you put performance management as basically a collection of methodologies, what they look like when you put them all together. So let's start. I also want to basically say that I believe that the various methods that comprise enterprise performance management portfolio, they're logical and they're not as complicated as many perceive. The obstacles that slow down their rate of adoption are no longer technical ones. The software is proven. They really involve organizational behavior, and that will become apparent as we talk through it. A certain example is resistance to change, which is human nature. My real message at the end, it's really time to elevate the debate. This is not about really putting in these systems. It's about behavioral change management. So to sort of set the stage, what is the lifespan of big companies? Of the Forbes 100 that was created in 1917, how many do you think were on the list in 2006? Only 18, and only 39 of the 100 have survived. Similarly, of the Standard & Poor's list, created in 1957, how many were in 2006? Only 74, 15%. And the reason I'm using 2006 is because it's a study from a faculty member I know in Hong Kong who created this thing. And look at some of the more current examples: Wang Labs, DEC, Borders, Blockbuster. So what can we conclude? My belief is when organizations are successful or too successful, it just breeds resistance to change and not taking risks. And basically, each new day is a new day. So we're really talking about you've got to consider some of the concerns. Just can't, stand in place, run in place, tread water. I like to present all my presentations with these 3 questions: what, so what, then what? Put it in context. When an organization, let's say, successfully implements one of the methods we'll talk about, strategy map, balanced scorecard, or customer profitability using activity-based costing, I say celebrate for one day. You are not done. You're going to have a lot more information about yourself. But what's relevant, and that's what's relevant in that data. That's the so what. But increasingly, the important question is, then what? What will be the impact? What decisions do we make? Will we make more money, less money? Are we going to meet our goals? And that will become apparent when we talk about the predictive view. Okay, Enterprise performance management. There is confusion and lack of consensus about it. Is it human resources? Actually, if you Google just performance management, the majority of the hits will be HR, employee appraisals. The issue is people such as myself who have written on this topic, we forgot to put or neglected to put the E or the C, enterprise or corporate, in front of it. Is it scorecards, dashboards, KPIs, and measures, including the alignment of the employees with the strategy and resource allocation? Yes, but that's a subset of EPM. Is it about process, productivity, and quality improvement? Yes, but that's business process management, BPM, and not performance management. That's the world of Six Sigma and lean management. It's a subset. Is it all the above and even more? Well, here's the good news. Enterprise performance management methods are not new methods that employees and managers need to learn, but rather it is the integration of existing methods they are already familiar with. They've either read about them or actually implemented a few or some of them in their organization. The problem is this. When organizations implement these methods, they are in isolation of each other. You have kind of like a planning department in one building and a profitability building, other building, got a lean management in another building. You get more power and synergy when you integrate these methods like gears in a machine, and even more power when you embed analytics into them of all flavors: regression, correlations, segmentation, clustering, association. So since you will hopefully get the slides, there is the definition I just provided you. It's the integration, multiple methods, embedded with analytics, but key at the end, it's all about strategy execution and better execution. And better execution. Just as a sidebar, if you are interested in reading an article that I've authored, I'm in the third year of a part-time role. It's about third year, about 10% of my time, with the Institute of Management Accountants. They are 84,000 members in 140 countries, and if you go to this link, you can download this article. I write 2 articles a year. You can actually just Google my name there and see the others, but it will describe many of the concepts we're going to talk about. Okay, so enterprise performance management. If the methods have existed, sometimes some of them for decades, some even before computers, why is there interest in this topic? And I'm going to quickly go through these 8, and then the rest of the presentation will drill into a few of them. The first one is executives' frustration with strategy failure. Executives are quite good at formulating strategy, or they'll bring in a large consulting firm, Bain, Deloitte, where I'm an ex-Deloitte, BCG, and so forth. Their frustration is failure to execute the strategy. Second, increased accountability. Today, there is no place to hide. It doesn't mean that your job is necessarily at risk, but you will be monitored, and it could basically adversely affect your promotions or salary increases. 3, more rapid decision-making. Unlike 5 or 10 years ago when we could test and learn and have meetings in conference rooms with our bosses, today people may be on the phone, go or no go, yes or no. They need to make the decision on the fly. They almost wish that the executive team was sitting next to them and say, well, how would you answer this question since you know their strategy? 4th, mistrust of the management accounting system for transparency and accuracy. When we get to that topic, we will talk about activity-based costing and why managers are frustrated with traditional broad-brushed allocations that are grotesquely distort the true costs. 5, poor customer value management. I believe that today customers view all suppliers as commodities, and therefore for suppliers to be competitive, they need to provide differentiated services to different types of customers. We'll talk about some of the issues that are going on there. 6, contentious budgeting, poor resource capacity planning. This may surprise some of you, but I believe that the annual budget process is such a disaster and is so dysfunctional that the best thing to do is just abandon it, stop budgeting. But that begs the question, what was the budget's purpose in the first place, and what do we do to replace satisfying the purpose? 7, dysfunctional supply chain management. My belief is that in almost every B2C, B2B, business-to-business supply chain, customers view their suppliers as the enemy. That has to stop. We've got supply chains and value chains